Hey guys, Lindsay here. Welcome back to my channel. So I am incredibly excited for today's video because it's going to be the first time I am trying out Give Me Glow Cosmetics. I haven't tried them yet. I've been holding out specifically for this palette, which I fell in love with the second they started teasing it on Instagram. It is a green, grungy, olive themed palette, Dirty Martini themed palette. So, you know, I did kind of whip one up to kind of go along with it. Dirty martinis are probably one of my favorite cocktails outside of like a nice fruity drink. If I don't want something fruity or a beer, then I want a dirty martini. Yeah, so this is what the palette looks like. Let me show you the close-up. So you've got the kind of neon lights vibe going on with the dirty martini. There's nothing on the back, same thing with the box, there's nothing on the back of it. And then this is what the palette looks like. It is a grungy green shadow lover's dream. These shades are gorgeous. And yes, you do of course get a mirror here and all the fun names, you know, they're all very martini themed. So this is a fun little palette. I like that it's 6 pans. I could have easily done with it being smaller pans. I don't really care for the really large ones because I will never make a dent in this, I'm pretty sure. I have so many eyeshadow palettes, I don't make dents in them very often. So, but it's still very beautiful and I can't wait to do a look with it. So let me give you a couple quick details about the palette before we go into swatches and the look. So the palette went up for pre-order and pretty much instantly sold out. I think there's a lot of people that were excited about this palette. It's not on their website anymore right now. I assume they're probably going to bring it back because I have a feeling this is going to be a popular one, but I just kind of pulled it up on their Instagram just to see. So it did retail for $30 and I know that they're cruelty free. I know their lipsticks are vegan. I just don't know if the palette is vegan. I couldn't, since it's not on the website, I couldn't find it and they don't have the information on the packaging. But yeah, if you know, feel free to leave in a comment below, but they are cruelty free. So yeah, I don't know when they're going to be restocking. If they're going to be restocking, I would just say definitely follow Give Me Glow Cosmetics on Instagram. That seems to be the best place that people update things like that, either in their stories or they do it in their actual Instagram posts. But I'm excited to try this. The swatches did not disappoint. I've already taken the swatches and like I said, I've never tried Give Me Glow's shadows before. I've heard nothing but good things about them. So I'm really excited to try them out. There's definitely a lot of other shades I really want to try. I just don't need to be spending that money right now. So let's go ahead and get into the swatches and then we'll get into an eye look. Cheers. Okay, we have Dry Martini, Cocktails, Shaken Not Stirred, Garnish, Dirty Martini, and Vodka-tini. All right, so let's go ahead and jump straight in. I think I want to do maybe a gradient crease from this brighter color into this deeper color. I know I want to do that bright green across the lid without a doubt. I might do both, we'll see. I have MAC Paint Pot on my lid. I did not set it. So I'm gonna start by kind of patting this color down lightly, and then I'll blend. I think I'll go just past halfway because I'm sure I'll kind of extend the darker color. So we'll go ahead and bring this shade just past halfway and then I can kind of mix them in the center where they meet. Now with nothing else on the brush, I'm just going to start kind of wiggling back and forth over the edge just to kind of soften and blend. First color down. I definitely love it. Switch to a kind of bigger brush, but still fluffy. So that first shade I used was Dry Martini. Now we're gonna go into Dirty Martini. I am more of a Dirty Martini fan, a Dirty Vodka-tini to be specific. And same thing, I'm gonna pack this mostly into the outer part and we will kind of bring it in some. So maybe I'll use the deeper shimmer shade on the outer corner. I just like doing that. Just softly blending it. I don't want this to get too dark and heavy. I'm just building it up little by little. That shade definitely comes off a lot darker, it seems, but it's still pretty. Okay, and then I'm going to jump into Vodka-tini and kind of work on the outer edge of this one, buffing it out a little bit. Blend it a little bit into the other shade. Okay, I think it'll look fine once I connect down here. Let's go ahead and just connect the lower lash line. I'm gonna start with a flat angled brush, and I think we're just gonna start with Dirty Martini and stamp some of that shade on the outer part. Okay, I'm gonna leave the inside blank. I'm gonna take a pencil brush into Dry Martini, because it's just a little bit brighter, and kind of buff that underneath. I'm also gonna just buff a little bit of Dry Martini under kind of more of like the eye bag area of the lower lash line. And we'll pop in a brighter color there. And just a hint of Vodka-tini on this pencil brush, focusing more on the outer part so that it blends in. A little more back into Dirty Martini. So I definitely want this bright shade on most of it. I might just do a little bit of the deeper shade on the outside. So let's go ahead and just grab Garnish, which is the brightest one. Grab it on my finger. That was literally one little swirl, wow. Place that across the lid. I'm in love with that green. Wow. Okay, we're not doing this as a cut crease, so I'll probably just softly blend it, or I might crisp it up with the brush, I'm not sure yet. And then what I'm gonna do next is just dip into this one right here, shaken not stirred, and just take this, tap it over the other shade, kind of at an angle so that it blends, and that way it's just a little deeper on the outer part. Oh, I love it, it's so pretty. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and take the pencil brush I was using earlier, back into Dry Martini, and just buff this upper edge. And then with a clean brush, it's just stained. Just kind of really buff these edges a bit better. It's a little too harsh if you ask me. I'm gonna go back into the first brush I used and just kind of very lightly work on blending this matte shade, the first shade, up a bit better. I will say, like, the one thing, my one thing I would change probably about this palette, I say two things probably. I kind of wish there was a lighter shade. I mean, I get that we're going with the whole grungy Dirty Martini vibe, and I can always reach into another palette for a brighter shade, but I really just always like to have them in the palette I'm using whenever possible. So I do wish there was a brighter shade, whether it's like a really bright duochrome green, like that I could use as an inner corner highlight. Like it could be a fun yellowish green. I think that would be really pretty. But also just a lighter shade in general that could be buffed into the transition. I'm kind of trying to buff out that lightest shade to get the desired effect that I want, and it's working, but you know, if it was already in here, I wouldn't have to do this. All right, so one last touch, I'm gonna add some of the bright green to this lower lash line. I do wanna spray it this time. I didn't spray the top since I just used my finger, but for something really small and detailed like this, I do wanna spray the brush. And then for the sake of using all the shades in the palette, because why not? I'm gonna add, I think, a little bit of the deepest shade to the lash line just as a smoky liner. And that's all I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna do an actual liner. So Cocktails right here on just a flat angle brush. And I'll just kind of tap it against the lash line. And this is just gonna be subtle, but it'll just add a little bit of depth to the lashes. Maybe kind of bring it up a little bit on the outer part. I almost want to leave the inside really light and try to get it really close. Maybe just take a little bit of that Cocktails right at the lash line of the outer part. I think we are done. Okay, let's do a liner. I have a perfect kind of olivey colored liner. This is from Maybelline. It is Jade Olive. So we'll pop this in the waterline. And then, like I mentioned, I'm not gonna do liner because I did kind of like the smoky shadow liner. So I am just gonna pop on some mascara. I'll just use this one we just got in Boxy Luxe. This is the Tristique Good Vibes mascara because I already opened it, so I might as well use it. And then for lashes, I think I'm gonna do these Alien Cosmetics lashes. These are spaced out. That way everything still shows nicely. So let me do that and I'll catch up the other eye and I'll be right back. Okay, so this is the finished look. Like I mentioned, I have the Alien Cosmetics spaced out lashes on, and for lips, I just kind of added a little bit more of what I already had on, which was one of the Dominique Cosmetics Lemonade lip glosses in the shade Peach Tea. Just got this in my Boxy Luxe, and I love it. So yeah, this is it. Pretty much used every shade in the palette in some capacity. I am not disappointed. I absolutely love it. I did want to do a quick comparison, at least show you guys side by side in case you're curious about the Features and palette from Kaleidos Cosmetics, because they're both kind of like that grungy green vibe, but there's definitely a lot of different colors here. I don't have things like the Melt Gemini palette or the Smoke Sessions one, so I can't really compare that, but I can at least show you these. So if you're curious, you have a couple of potentially similar tones, but not too much. I mean, I guess we could swatch them side by side. Obviously, you're getting kind of more like mustardy and gold color in here, whereas you're not in the other one, you're getting a black also. But I'll take maybe some of the ones that look like they could be dupes and swatch them side by side. So this is Shaken Not Stirred from Give Me Glow, and Glamora from the Futurism palette. These definitely aren't as pigmented as the Give Me Glow, but definitely you can see this is more of a dark base. The other one, it needs to be built up, but even still, it's a very light kind of shade. And then as far as the mattes go, let's try Vodka Teeny from, I'll do this way. Vodka Teeny from Give Me Glow, alongside with Smog from the Futurism palette. So yeah, it definitely gets more of a brown tone as opposed to the other one. And the other two that look potentially similar are Dirty Martini from Give Me Glow with ET from the Futurism palette. So there you go. I feel like these are different enough to where if you had both of them, you wouldn't be having a ton of duplicates. These two are probably the closest. The other two, or the other two pairs, I guess, I don't feel like are close enough. And if you are kind of between formulas, I would say it depends on what your preference is. I really like a really pigmented in your face formula, and that seems to be what Give Me Glow is. The Futurism ones from Kaleidos, these are a gorgeous formula. I love these, but they are the kind where you can definitely start light and build up. So I don't mind that, I like that, but it's just something to keep in mind. I'm personally really happy with this palette, so I definitely want to use it some more. I really want to get more from Give Me Glow. I think they had that summer one, but they also had like a whole range of singles they just released, and I want them so badly. I just don't need to spend the money on it. But I definitely want to purchase more from them in the future. So if you guys have tried other Give Me Glow products, if you have certain like shades that you recommend that you say are just out of this world, let me know in the comments below, because like I said, I want to pick up some singles. Can't afford to buy them all though. All right, that's all for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.